So Hipgnosis spent over $1 billion on catalogs in 2021. And for those of you who don't know, Hipgnosis is a song investment fund, and they spent that much money on catalogs in 2021. Man, like, what are your thoughts on that? Why would they do that?
Because this is kind of what we talked about before, and it's just investors are seeing this before artists do, which usually is what happens. There's angel investors and venture capitalists and all that stuff that pour money into these ideas because they see them coming. But what happens with Hipgnosis is that it's a songwriting royalty fund that they go out and they buy up catalogs of really well-known artists or number one singles or classic albums, and then they put those all in a basket and they have a group of investors who gave them money, and then they give them returns on it and they pay themselves. All right, that's pretty much how any investment fund is going to work. Like, you investors who just have money and want to let their money work for them rather than them continuing to work, just give it to an investment fund and you can have passive income. Like, you just have your hands off of it and you get money coming back. You can go do whatever you want at that point, right? So what's happening with these funds is that this one in particular went public. They're on the over-the-counter market in the U.S. So there's different stock exchanges. You have the New York Stock Exchange, you have NASDAQ, you have the over-the-counter market, which is usually more small companies. But what happens with that is they're essentially doing the model that we've talked about that artists should be doing, and they're reaping the benefits when more artists should be reaping the benefits. I'm not hating on them at all. Like, this is what they should do because that's a good idea. But all it is the idea that we talked about with an artist setting up their own NFT, or in this case, I'll revise it and say they should really have their own cryptocurrency or like their own ticker symbol. And then as you have your own ticker symbol, you can put everything under that. So you can, the token or your own cryptocurrency can kind of be the basket that holds everything together. And that would be your streaming royalties, any show revenue you have, any NFTs you have, any merch you sell. All of it goes into a basket that you wrap and call it your cryptocurrency. Now, all it is really, like all a stock really is that basket that we're talking about. Because before you just had a company, now it's just publicly traded and everybody can search your ticker symbol and then they can give you money because the thought process is this person has shown a track record of earning money and I believe that they're better at growing my money than I am. Therefore, I'm going to give them money, help that money grow, and then I'll take it out at a later date. That's all the investment is, right? So for artists who replicate this, they just need to follow the same model and just package it a little bit differently. So what this company did is they're buying up the artist rights and doing this on the stock market, whereas artists can do this themselves. They just don't have a platform that's that great right now in order to do this. Yeah. So to turn yourself into a cryptocurrency, like, it doesn't have to be crazy difficult. There can be an underlying cryptocurrency of a platform that is kind of like, you know how people will say that a token is built on Ethereum? Like, if you've ever heard somebody say that. All right, so you can use the technology of Ethereum to build your own token or offshoot, we'll call it.
Okay.
And then you have your offshoot be the underlying currency of your like entire platform. Like, let's say this is this stock marketplace for artists. Like, there's one underlying currency, and then everybody else's currency is built off of that on the platform. So it would be like we have the Omari token, and Tyree signs up to that website, and his token, the Tyree token, is built off the technology of the Omari token, but everybody can see Tyree's ticker symbol, and if they want to buy into Tyree individually, they can do that. So that's all they're doing right now is buying up other people's catalogs and then trading their company on the stock market to raise the funds, and then going out to buy more buy more people's catalogs.
Yeah,
Like
makes sense.
that's the model. So once you have a model to make money as an artist, the fastest way to grow is going to be that you don't have to sign to the label. You just get the public to back you, and the public grows with you versus the label growing with you.
That makes
That's
sense.
that's all Amazon did. That's all Pepsi or Coca-Cola or any publicly traded company. They shifted from taking private investment from individual people with a lot of money, which would be your
Hmm.
record label. Record label has a
Hmm.
lot of money. They're one corporation, and they give you this check. Now they might have a bunch of subsidiaries under that record label, but they're still under one record label.
Hmm.
But you can get way more money from individual people that's just going to the public market. So at a certain point, I think maybe it was like 20 some years ago,
Hmm.
Amazon went public and said that we'll just raise money a lot quicker
Hmm.
this way. And what that does for Amazon is it solidifies their place as like number one, right? Because when
Makes
you
sense.
can
Yeah.
bring in more money and you have a model of making money, now you bring in more money and you just keep duplicating that model. That's
Yeah.
how they get to stay number one, because they only, I mean, not only, but they bring in like $400 billion a year, I think, in
Wow.
revenue. And their
Wow.
market cap, though, the amount of money people are sending in via their stock, is like 4 times that.
Come on.
So
Jeez.
if you can keep all that money, and that's why they can go out and buy Whole Foods.
Hmm.
Amazon bought
Hmm.
Whole Foods. That's why they
Hmm.
can buy that the movie studio. I think Metro Golden Mayer. If I'm
Hmm.
butchering that, it's the large movie studio they just bought. They
Hmm.
can go out and they can buy Twitch, and they can stay in front of everybody else because everybody keeps giving them more money.
Right.
So when an artist does that, they get to continue to create content, continue to have
Hmm.
shows. If they want to have their own record label, then they get to be the head of the record label rather than signing
Hmm.
to a record label, because they brought in all the capital from their
Yep.
sale of their token. And then
Hmm.
they can
Hmm.
sign other artists under them and replicate that model rather than giving all the power to one central, or really the big three record labels.
Yep.
So that's what's like, that's that shift that's happening. And the only thing that's going to interrupt it from these people buying, I think they got like $2 billion worth of catalogs right now, is
Hmm.
the artist giving it to the public
Come
rather
on.
than centralizing it.
That makes
So
sense.
that's what happened with Hipgnosis. And uh, I mean, I know it's tempting to take that big check, but
Mhm.
if it just depends on where the artists are at. Like if an artist just wants to be done and they don't really want to deal with all the, because it does take work to have your, like, to be a publicly traded company, or like if you want people to give you money, you got to be transparent with it. So
Right.
you need to have quarterly, you got to give quarterly earnings to
Hmm.
people. You have to show like, all right, here's exactly how much we made from shows, and here's how much we made from streaming, and that can be a lot of
Yep.
work. So if somebody just wants to be done and just sell off the
Yeah.
catalog, like, yeah, you can do that. But for a
Yeah.
lot of the younger people that we're talking to right now, or people that still want to stay in the game and like want to have this new experience when it really reaches its fruition, don't just sell off everything just yet, because I'm I see it as 3 to 5 years max that
Mhm.
you would see more people doing this. There's some people who have launched cryptocurrencies as artists,
Mhm.
but give it 3 to 5 years for influencers and film people in film and TV and music people to start to do this.
Mm, 3 to 5. All right. This is going down in history right here. We archiving this video.
Yeah, 3 to 5
Yeah,
years.
man.
It takes the right people to put it all together. But
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long it took Coinbase. I think it took them about 5 years to start popping off. I want to say they got founded in 2012. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, it was like 3 to 5 years, something like that.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Sounds good. Makes sense.